welcome back, and welcome if you're new here. Welcome to Let's Talk Health. So, as you can see by today, we're going to be talking about some more gut health stuff. We're going to be talking about best foods for gut health, or what are the best foods that you can have to help improve your gut health. So I'm going to say hi in the chat to everyone. I hope everybody's doing well. I hope you had a great week. It is colder here now in Toronto where I live. I don't know if you are also here, but it's been a change in weather. Today was pretty cold. So getting used to that, getting ready for fall. I'll kind of incorporate some tips about that too, like foods and stuff that are better to have when it gets colder. Basically, it's having more warmed foods. So we'll kind of talk a little bit about that too. But yeah. So, let's check in with everybody. How have you been? And let me know what's been going on. Thanks for, hanging out with me tonight and chatting. And we're going to kind of just go over different foods that are good for the gut. I'll maybe point out some that maybe you should stay away from, but we'll mostly be talking about what are some good ones. And then always asking your questions through the chat. And yeah. Yes, so it is too cold today. It has been pretty cold out there today. So, yeah. I know. Before we start, actually, let's just do something fun. Why don't you just tell me what your favorite food is? And it can be anything. It doesn't have to be, your favorite healthy food or whatever. Just tell me what is your favorite food. It doesn't have to be about the gut, and let's just see what everybody's favorite food is. I guess I can go start with mine. So I think, I have many different ones, but if I could pick anywhere type of food to eat, I think I would choose to eat pasta. I don't know if that's cliche, but I would say that's my favorite food would be pasta. But of course, if we're picking like something a healthier food that I definitely think I enjoy the green vegetables the most. So different things like broccoli, Brussels sprouts, kale. I really like those ones. I do enjoy those. But let's see what some people have to say. Okay, so hi, doing good. Glad you're doing good. Okay, chips. Yeah, lots of people love chips. That's a good one. Pizza or hamburger or lasagna. Those are some good ones. And then lasagna. Okay, so sorry to break it to you, but those are none of the best foods for gut health, but that's okay. But those are some good ones. I think if we all if there's something your favorite go-to food or something that you could enjoy, I think it would be something. I think people prefer something more comforting. So things like pizza, lasagna, those are pretty comforting, warming foods. Chips are a nice, salty snack, but that's good. Thanks for sharing. Everybody else, you can also share too. Just let me know what your favorite food is. I'll write down here what is your, for other people that are coming in later, favorite food. I had quinoa salad tonight. Great. So quinoa, that's a great thing. What did your quinoa salad have in it? And then ice cream on waffles. Yeah, another, I feel like people, if you're not more of the savory type, you like more of the sweet type of food. So yeah, those are all very comforting foods. Quinoa is also good, a pretty good food for gut health too. So we'll talk about that and having some chocolate sauce on ice cream on waffles. Wow. I think you're going to be making everybody really hungry with those comments right now. Everyone's going to go have lasagna and ice cream waffles. Okay, so let's start with kind of the first category or kind of first food that I want to talk about. And I think I've talked about this before, but that would be having probiotic foods or foods that are good in probiotics. And of course, I couldn't have, talking about gut health without talking about foods that are good for probiotic sources of foods. Basically, probiotics are help feed the good gut bacteria, or they are sources of good bacteria, and that helps support our microbiome. So things, probiotic foods, and I know I've talked about this before too, but this is things like kefir, which is like a cultured milk or coconut milk based drink. Pickled foods, so things like kimchi and sauerkraut. Yogurt is another one. Kombucha is also another one. Any sort of pickled or fermented vegetables. Like you can make your own pickled vegetables. And then also tempeh, which is a plant-based protein, has probiotic foods in it. So those are sources of probiotic foods. So even if you take a probiotic, it's still always best to get it from a food source. Having food sources are always the best because they're the most natural source of things. So adding those into your diet is very helpful for gut health. And then there's something called prebiotics. And prebiotics are what help feed the probiotics. It helps increase them. So these are actually things probably a lot of you already consume. So this would be things like garlic and onion are good sources of it. Leeks are another one. Bananas, but they have to be more green. As opposed, when they get yellow, they don't have it anymore. So it's those greener bananas. Jerusalem artichokes are a specific kind of artichoke, so they also have it. Those are some pretty good sources that you can probably already get in your diet. So having garlic, onion are good sources of it. So those would be things that you should consume. Try to consume them daily in your diet, whether it be the probiotic, prebiotic foods. What was I going to say? Just lost my train of thought. I was going to say that diversity. That was what I was going to say. So having a diversity of food is also very important. So regardless of these the best foods that I'm going to be talking about, just having a diversity is very important for your gut health. So that's I've talked about it before, eating a different variety of colors of food. So having different sorts of vegetables. So maybe you always have broccoli, so maybe you should change it up and go and have purple cabbage. Or maybe you always have regular potato, try having sweet potato. So having different colors of foods and different diversity is helpful too. So for example, I went to the grocery store the other day and I bought a vegetable that I've never bought before, which is called Kohlrabi. I'm not sure if any of you have ever heard about it, but let me know if you have, and if you have any good recipes for it, because I have to actually look for a recipe on how to make it, and I'll let you know how it went next week. But so that's something that I try to do too, is try to pick out something that's different. So if you normally buy mango, maybe try to buy a different type of fruit. Maybe you can buy papaya, or if you normally buy apples, maybe you can buy pears. Even just making the small little switches increases the diversity of food, which is helpful for your gut microbiome. So trying to get different food in there is very helpful. Okay, and I just remembered something that I want to let all of you know before the end of today, so don't forget. I will not be here next week on Friday. I will be away, so I will actually be back in 2 weeks from now. So no live stream next week. I'll remind you at the end of the video, but I'll be back in 2 weeks, okay? All right, let's see what some people are saying in the chat. So just to recap with that, probiotic foods and prebiotic foods, so things like kefir, kimchi, sauerkraut, those are some good probiotics, and then having garlic, onion, having them raw is actually better for the prebiotics. So raw garlic, raw onion, raw, leeks too. Actually, even if you have green onion, is very good too. Yeah. Okay. So what are some people saying? They're talking about food, I think. Marshmallows. Wow, we're just having a whole dessert here with the time traveler. Okay, so Nancy was talking about what's in her quinoa salad. Cucumber, roasted red peppers, and chicken. Oh, that sounds really nice. Nice. Roasted red peppers, cucumber, and chicken. That's a great, good. So what you got in there is you got some fiber from the quinoa. That's great. It also has protein. Your chicken's got some protein. You got some nice green and red vegetables in there too that are hydrating and provide vitamin C. So that's great. Does curry have any probiotics? I don't believe so. Curry has more of spices, and different sort of herbs and spices. So they would actually also be helpful for the gut, which I'll go into things like that, like turmeric and ginger and cumin and different sorts of spices are helpful too. I like yogurt. I did buy kefir and it was okay. Okay, yeah, it's not for everybody maybe. You can try a different type or just stick with yogurt if that's what you like. Oh, hey Peter. Peter's here. Hi Peter. Hi. He gave us a smile. Actually, Peter and Maria, thank you. Thank you for joining. Okay, Nancy has a roasted kohlrabi with Parmesan. Try it. Okay, thanks. Thanks for the tip. We will try it. That's a good one. And John likes Greek yogurt. Nice. Yeah, Greek yogurt's a good one. I like Greek yogurt too because it's got good source of protein. It's a higher protein yogurt. I always recommend try to buy the ones that are unsweetened. And then try to then use things yourself just if you like it sweet, because typically what they put in the sweetened yogurts is just things like sugar, whereas maybe if you have it on your own, you could do something like a nice organic honey or a little bit of organic maple syrup. Yes, it's still sugar, but it's a better quality. Or, you can make like a granola and fruit and you don't have to put a sweetener on it. So that's great. Okay, so next what I'm going to talk about is fiber foods. So fiber is very important for the gut health. It helps with proper bowel movements. It helps move things along the digestive tract. It sweeps it nice and clean. That is very important. So having fiber in the diet is a good thing for your gut, okay? So there's different sources of fiber. I'll kind of just talk about some of my favorite ones. Number one would be having the green vegetables that I was talking about. So leafy green vegetables. So not things like lettuce. Lettuce is not high in fiber. You have to have things like broccoli, kale, Brussels sprouts, bok choy, collard greens are good. What else do we got? Cabbage, cauliflower. I know cauliflower's not green, but it's part of the same family. So those are very high fiber foods that are good for the gut health. They have lots of different vitamins and minerals, so they're going to support all your gut cells, your immune cells. It's very good for the gut. So trying to get in a cup of those a day is good. And then a tip for this is you want to try to have them cooked. You can have them raw, but it's a little bit harder on the digestive tract. So if you have gut issues, if you experience bloating, then that can be, a little bit harsh on the gut. So having them roasted, having them sauteed, having them steamed, however you like it, is helpful. Better, easier to digest. So that would be a category of fibrous foods. Then another one would be getting in orange colored foods. So this is things like sweet potato and carrots, orange peppers, any other type of orange vegetables. These have a lot of fiber. Carrots are really helpful and support eye health as well, so they're a good one there. And then sweet potatoes are very nourishing and they're very easy to digest and eat. So even if you think about you would feed babies pureed sweet potato, it's good enough for them. It's really good and helpful for adults too. So it's very easy in the digestive tract. It's very soothing. It's warming. Not only is it warm in temperature, but it's also a warming food. Its energy properties is warming. So that's a good one to have too. Okay, so we got some green vegetables, orange vegetables, and then the next category for fiber would be having whole grains. So this is things like brown rice, oats are another good source, something like quinoa is not necessarily a grain, but we'll just throw it in that category. Those are very helpful for, again, supporting with fiber, helping to support the gut health and helping to also lower cholesterol levels too. So that's another good thing to have in the diet. Okay, so we got our prebiotic foods, our probiotic foods. We got in the fibrous foods. Now I'm going to pick out a specific food that I really like that's very helpful, and this is ground flax seeds and hemp hearts. So these two foods, again, are good sources of fiber, but then they're also really good sources of healthy fats. Healthy fats are important for our overall, our body, because our cells do have like a fatty layer to them if you get down like a cellular level, but even just helpful for brain health, immune health, overall supporting our body's health. And then for the gut, fats are nice and helpful for just keeping things like keeping your stool also soft and formed. The flax seeds specifically can help to bind excess hormones and help with detoxifying. Hemp hearts are a good source of protein. So if you can add, 2 tablespoons a day, they're very helpful for getting in those fats into your diet. And I like getting it from those two. Okay, so we got some healthy fats, like through the seeds, some good vegetables and fiber. And then another category that I want to talk about is having some bitter foods. So bitter foods are helpful for stimulating digestion. They're helpful for your liver. So liver is also part of our digestive system because it helps with the, the process of forming bile. So it helps to create bile. It helps with like detoxifying, so detoxifying everything in your body. So it's very important for your overall gut health. So having bitter foods is helpful as well. So bitter foods, this can be something like apple cider vinegar, lemon, having arugula, radicchio. These things are okay to have raw. So I know I was talking about like don't have all your foods raw. That was more so like the broccoli and those ones can create more gas. Whereas arugula, radicchio, they won't really, even though they're raw foods, they're much lighter. Grapefruit is another good one too. So these foods are helpful for the liver. They help to stimulate your digestive enzymes. They support the liver, which is helpful for improving digestion and moving things along the digestive tract. So trying to get these in prior to a meal is very helpful as well too. It can just help kind of get your digestive juices flowing and then help with getting things ready for digestion. So try to add those in, like I said, prior to a meal. Maybe before like a really heavy meal, you can add it in instead of taking like an enzyme or instead of having to take something to help with digestion. Try having the bitter foods or the apple cider vinegar first, and it can be very helpful. All right, let's go into the chat, and then I'll kind of just recap so far what we've talked about. Rapini, rapini is a good one too. That's a great green, that's helpful. Lots of fiber, lots of vitamins, magnesium, it's a great one. Okay, a little bit of an off topic, but can you discuss PUFAs and if it is necessary to limit them in your diet? So PUFAs are polyunsaturated fatty acids. And different, like fats are broken down into many different categories. So like there's saturated fat, there's trans fat, many different types of fat. So of course you want to avoid like saturated excess amounts. You definitely want to avoid trans fats. So I wouldn't say it's necessary to completely eliminate the polyunsaturated fatty acids in the diet. You want to have more of the monounsaturated fatty acids. You want to have more of the healthy fats like the olive oil, but things like avocado, which are high in fats, those are still helpful to have in the diet. Having almonds, walnuts, hemp hearts, chia seeds, those are good sources of fat, and you can have them in in like their whole form, as opposed to you might want to avoid like the oils that are formed from some of those vegetables or some of those nuts and seeds. So I would say if you're wanting to limit things, then limit more of the oils, but you don't need to limit like foods that contain those, if that makes sense. It is still helpful to have healthy fats in your diet, to have different sources of fats in your diet is helpful for your brain health overall. It's very helpful. If you have more of like heart disease or high cholesterol, then you might want to be careful and maybe limit those a bit more. So let me know if you have a follow-up question to that, but I hope that was helpful for you. Okay, and what did I want to talk about next? Fruits. Fruits, that's what I wanted to talk about. Okay, so for fruits, having a lot of fruits are very helpful for gut health. So I would say majority of fruits, vegetables, you don't really need to specifically avoid any of those. They're all helpful. If they're in their natural form, they're very helpful for your gut. But specifically ones that are good for the gut are things like berries. Those have a lot of antioxidants. They're lower in fructose, so they can be helpful for not causing like spikes in blood sugar. And then also having like your citrus fruits. Keep in mind, all these things that I'm talking about are just for like general health tips. If you have certain gut issues, for example, if you have acid reflux, you might need to avoid citrus fruits. If you have IBS, maybe bananas bother you. So it can be different depending on what conditions you have, but this is kind of just general. So in general, if you don't have any acid reflux, citrus fruits are really helpful. They have a lot of vitamin C, and they're, again, kind of have a bit of a bitter property to them. So citrus and berries are really good ones for gut health. What else do I want to talk about? Let me know if you have any questions about any of the foods so far that I've talked about. So we talked about probiotics, we talked about prebiotics, we talked about lots of fiber and vegetables. Those are the best ones that I've mentioned, like the green vegetables and the orange ones. We talked about having like hemp hearts and flax seeds are very helpful for your gut. I always talk about this with people, having like flax and hemp in the diet. We talked a little bit about healthy fats and like how, polyunsaturated fatty acids. If you can have things like walnuts and almonds, which are good, but maybe not going towards the oils, like the refined oils like corn, not the greatest to have. Avoiding those. What else did I talk about? Fruits as helpful. The bitter foods is very helpful. I would say like those are the best things for having in your diet that you should include daily for your gut health. Is safflower oil just as good as olive oil? No, not necessarily. So I would say it's not comparable to olive oil. There's a lot of studies that are done on olive oil, specifically in the Mediterranean diet, and showing how it is a very helpful, beneficial fat, helpful for reducing cholesterol, helpful in increasing your good cholesterol, your HDL, and helping your heart health. So in that sense, it is olive oils superior in terms of that. The best oils really are having olive oil, avocado oil are typically the two cleaner oils. You want to avoid things like canola oil, corn oil, sunflower oil. Yeah. Okay, so I was talking about at the beginning how I wanted to say what you can do now to kind of help when it's getting colder out and the time of year is changing. And I kind of mentioned this when I was talking about the green vegetables, but that's having like cooked vegetables. But just in general, having cooked warmer foods is helpful for this time of year. As it gets cold outside, our body temperatures also get cold as well, so it's better to have cooked foods. And this is easier on your digestive system. So having things like soups and stews are very warming and very easy to digest. So if you do have difficulty digesting food, or if you have gut issues, then having warm and cooked foods is better for your gut health. And then on top of that, adding in warming herbs, so things like we were kind of mentioning before, like turmeric, ginger. Those are nice warming herbs and very helpful for reducing inflammation. So that's a big one for gut health too. those would be those two. Yeah, let me know if you have any other questions. So to start incorporating these foods, because maybe it's a bit overwhelming with so many different foods out there, if we want to just make it simplified, you can just pick one food from one of those categories that I talked about and add it into your diet for a few days, and then 4 days later, once you got the hang of it, you can add another one in, or maybe a week later. So let's say next week you want to add some more probiotic foods into your diet. So you can go out and you can buy some sauerkraut, or you can buy some cabbage slaw, or you can buy yogurt. And that's going to be that one food that you're going to have for a week, and you add into your diet. And then next week you can go and increase your consumption of fiber. So you're going to add in a little bit every day. Again, like I said, try adding in different things at a time. It's helpful to increase diversity, but it's always good to just kind of pick one thing and go with it. And a lot of us, we tend to eat the same thing over and over again. We just it's out of habit, we get used to it. Maybe we always have, the same foods in our pantry, so even when you're thinking about cooking with beans or something, if you tend to always have black beans or chickpeas, maybe next time try navy beans, or try white kidney beans or something like that. Change it up. If you always have pasta, try the ones that are made out of different legumes. So try having lentil-based pasta, or quinoa-based pasta, or rice-based pasta. Try having different things. If you normally had salmon, maybe you're going to try mackerel or tilapia, something different. It's good to always switch things up, like I was talking about with having diversity. I know a lot of us do tend to stick with the same thing because it's easier if we already have recipes we know how to make. So maybe go and buy a different recipe book that maybe the recipe book from a different culture can give you ideas about different things too. Those are just some tips to try to get some different foods into your diet. I heard bone broth is good for you. Is that correct? Yes. So you must have been listening to my other live stream. So bone broth is great for you. It's good for your gut health. So yeah, that would be another one to add in. It's perfect for this time of year. Bone broth is very soothing on the digestive tract. It has good source of collagen and lots of vitamins and minerals. So it's helpful for repairing an irritated gut lining. It's very good. It's very soothing and nice. Good one. Okay, so I'll quickly just talk about a couple things that you want to avoid, and then I'll let you ask me any other questions, and then we'll wrap it up. So number one, the biggest thing you want to avoid is alcohol. And alcohol is damaging to the gut lining. It's very irritating. It can cause inflammation in the gut and many other things. So having alcohol isn't good. Of course, large amounts of alcohol you want to avoid. For sure, but even if you have small amounts, it's okay, but try not to have too much alcohol. It can be damaging to the gut. So that's the first one. The next one is having a lot of refined sugar. And by refined sugar, I mean things like, chocolate, or candy, or a lot of cakes and desserts and sweets that have a lot of refined sugar. So instead, there's alternate options out there now. There's a lot more options that maybe just cook with, make their things with maple syrup, or they use honey, or they use, bananas to sweeten things. Try to make your own things too. Again, I'm not saying you have to completely stop having these things, but reducing the amount of these. So that's also, again, can increase inflammation in the gut, can spike your blood sugar, your insulin, which is not good for the overall health of your body. So reducing that. So alcohol and refined sugars, I would say, are the big ones to reduce in your gut. And then other things would just be what your personal sensitivities are. So if you notice that maybe gluten makes you bloated, then avoid that for a period of time, and then you can see after if you can add it back in. All right, I'll drink to that. Good one. Okay, so that's all for tonight. That's what I wanted to share with you. So just to recap, like probiotic, prebiotic foods, lots of fiber through your green vegetables, orange vegetables are very helpful, and what's it called? The good carbohydrates, so like brown rice and those kind of things. Having in some fruit, like berries or citrus fruit, flax seeds, hemp hearts, and then some good like bitter foods. Those I would say are the best foods, and you should try to incorporate those every day. So I'll wait a couple of minutes. Let me know if you have any other questions for tonight. If you haven't done so already, make sure to give this video a thumbs up. So that really helps with letting me know if you like the content. It helps with getting things noticed across YouTube, so it helps with the YouTube algorithm. And subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, so you can be notified every time that I go live. I hope you all found this helpful. Thank you for the participation, all the comments. It was very helpful. Thanks for letting me know about your favorite foods. I hope that you can maybe enjoy them, but maybe not too much. Yeah. So like I said, next week I will not be here, so we will be back in 2 weeks, which will be November the 6th. So no live stream next week on October the 30th. I will be back for November the 6th. And we'll, talk about some more stuff. So you're going to have 2 weeks off, or I guess 2 weeks until you see me next, so you can think of all the questions that you want to ask me. And yeah, I think that's it for tonight. I think I gave you guys enough time to ask me any questions, so I'll wrap it up, and I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy some time outside. That's also helpful for your gut health when you go outside and just de-stress and spend some time in nature. All right, you're welcome, everybody. You're welcome. Thank you for hanging around. I'll see you all in 2 weeks. Have a great night. Bye.